A pleasant day, everyone. I'm Sandhya from Department of English, Assistant Professor in Dhanalakshmi Srinivasan Arts and Science College for Women, Autonomous. I'm now talking about Chinese literature, a short story, A Little Incident. It's written by Lu Huzun, and he is called Zhou Shuren. He was born on 25th September 1881 in Shanfan, and he was the leading figure of modern Chinese literature and most influential Chinese writer of the 20th century. Writer of satiric short stories of social criticism, and he is always writing the satirical way only. His famous works are Diary of a Madman, it's written in 1918, and Kong E.G. 1919, The True Story of A.Q., it's written in 1921. And here's a Chinese writer, a short story writer and poet, editor and designer, translator, literary critic, and lecturer and state servant. In 1930s, he was the titular head of the League of Left-Writing Writers in Shanghai during Republican era of China, 1912 to 1949. He was died in October 1936 in Shanghai. A Little Incident, it's about the story of a narrator, the short story about an unforgettable incident that a young man had experienced in the past. The man looked back on his memories and narrates the details of the little incident he encountered. The story does not only focus on internal conflicts but also present the social problems that exist in our community. In point of view of the story, all is told from the first point of the view, and the narrator is the main character himself. And the setting is, it was a winter day in the 6th year of the Republic. Characters are the narrator and the rickshaw puller and the old women. The narrator is an educated young man, comes from the upper class of society, and he is both protagonist and antagonist of the story. He experiences an internal change which makes him a dynamic character. And the rickshaw puller is the one hired by the narrator, and he brings the narrator to his work. An old woman accidentally crashed into the rickshaw. He had shown concern and helped the women. And the old woman has streaks of white in her hair, and she wore ragged clothes. She had been dragged by the rickshaw and got hurt. However, the narrator only thought of her as a delay in journey. The last character is police officer. The police officer from the station where the puller accompanied the old woman. He told the narrator to get another rickshaw because the man can't pull him anymore. The plot of the story, the narrator remembers the day when a little incident happened to him. The wind was furious on that winter day in the 6th year of the Republic. The narrator got up early to earn a living. After a moment of looking, he finally hired a rickshaw. He told the rickshaw puller to take him southern gate. The puller ran quickly. The action in between the play, before reaching the south gate, an old woman dated in front of them. The rickshaw puller tried to avoid her, but it was too late. The old woman got dragged by the rickshaw and fell to the ground. The puller was able to slow his pace, so the old woman had no serious injury. When the puller halted, he immediately went to the old woman. Climax of the play, the narrator irritated when the puller went on involving himself in some foolish complication that will only delay in his journey. He insisted that the old woman was not hurt and ordered the puller to let her be. However, the puller did not listen to him. Instead, the puller continued to help the woman and guided her to another place. The narrator followed them, and to his surprise, he noticed a police station. Following action of the story, when the puller and the old woman entered the police station, the narrator suddenly felt this pressure that was supposed to the outcome of his actions. He was stunned as he witnessed an act of kindness from the puller and was ashamed of his conduct earlier. An officer from the station told him to get another rickshaw because the puller cannot escort him anymore. Resolution of the story is, the narrator pulled forth a big fistful of coppers from his pocket and told the officer to give it to the puller. The wind had ceased, but the narrator still pondered over the reason why he gave those to the puller. He felt guilty, but it was his inherent kindness that made him respond like that. 6 years later, and the narrator still remembers the incident clearly as it had been meaningful to him. The conflict of the story is man versus himself, how the man behaves and how himself behaves. The narrator had experienced an internal conflict. In the beginning, he was inconsiderate of the old women, making him selfish in incident. But he had witnessed the goodwill of the rickshaw puller. That's the time when he started to feel responsible for his action. Symbol of the story is the wind and I, rickshaw puller and old women. The wind explores, connotes the growth of the narrator, and narrator always use the word I. The use of I signifies the higher position that the narrator holds in the story. And the rickshaw puller, he exemplifies those people who work hard for a living. The old woman represents those who are oppressed in society. Theme of the story is man is good in nature and goodwill over selfish thought. Thank you, everyone.